Dawgz.com here with your halftime show for the early games on Sunday, December 8th, 2019. Of course, at pickdawgz.com, we do free picks on every game every single day, so hopefully you guys check that out. Of course, here on YouTube, we have our live show weekdays at 10 a.m., weekends at 11, so hopefully you guys check those out. And, of course, tons of free picks every single day. But we got some really good games today, and especially when you throw in the point spreads. These things are really good games. So hopefully you guys are tuning in. It's been, these games all season, they run pretty up and down. But today it looks like, NFL really delivering. And, that usually is the case late in the season as the Vikings – the Lions missed the field goal late in the first half. The Vikings get the ball back and now march it down for a touchdown, now up 17-0. This game was looking like it was going to be 10-3, now 17-0. Now the Falcons hit a field goal right here before the break to go up 13-10 over the Panthers. We got the 49ers 28-27 over the Saints. Yep, we gave out that over on the early show on that 49ers Saints game. We got the Jets over the Dolphins 16-9, the Browns and the Bengals in pretty much of a war like we expected, and the Denver Broncos all over the Texans. But, of course, free picks every game, every day at pickdawgz.com. Of course, our YouTube channel loaded with videos. So, hopefully we can keep the ball rolling here. Let's take a look at these second half lines, see what's out, and expect to see these things updated quickly. In the Saints 49ers game, we got to remember that the 49ers have scored the last 14 points in this game, and they have looked dominant doing so. I thought the Saints fought the good fight early, but like we said, Steve Monahan and I earlier in the week and this morning as well, I think the 49ers are just too physical for the Saints, and that's what it's looking like. We got the Bills are +3 for the second half against the Ravens. That game an absolute war. Redskins +6 against the Packers. Right now, the Redskins covering in that game. Then we got Dolphins +0.5, and that's -140. So the Dolphins, that game's really a pick 'em for the second half, Dolphins-Jets, as it should be. And Vikings still not at halftime. Denver, Houston just going to the half. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Looks like that's going to be 14-13 at the half. Carolina and the Falcons now at the half as well. Of course, free picks every game, every day at Pick Dawgz. And on our YouTube channel, well, pretty much just non-stop videos. So hopefully you guys get a chance to check those out. Clemson leading Florida State, as half of us said. Richmond over South Alabama. Wichita State over Oklahoma State. William & Mary and Fairfield. William & Mary up by 9 points in that weird line game. We got free picks on every game, every day at pickdawgz.com. Let's refresh the lines and see what we got. Yep, the lines are out for the NCAA playoffs. It's Clemson, a 2 to 2.5 point favorite. LSU favored by 11 to 12. Let's see, Houston crushed South Carolina 76-56. Yep, it's Clemson -2 over Ohio State. I've seen 2.5s. It opened at 1. And I've seen -11s and 12s on LSU over Oklahoma. We got the Ravens are -3 here against the Bills. I don't know. We got the Bills for the game. I think it's going to be nip and tuck from here on in. Redskins +6 against the Packers. Broncos +6, +143 against the Texans, so they're actually +7.5 in that one. So they're just routing the Texans. But we saw the Broncos collapse earlier this season with a similar lead against the Vikings. 49ers and the Saints is a pick 'em, but the 49ers -125 on that. The Panthers +0.5 against the Falcons, and the Dolphins pick 'em with the Jets. Yeah, that Ohio State Clemson line came out and it went 1, 2.5, like in half a second. And the same thing with the LSU line, went from 11 to 12, like so fast. We'll probably start to see all of the bowl matchups start to come together over the next few days. But I think this is one of the better first halves, or at least exciting games. I mean, there's a few blowouts out there, but most of these games have been super competitive. This Niners-Saints game, absolutely delivering. The Bills and Ravens, absolutely delivering. Carolina-Atlanta, delivering. Dolphins-Jets, delivering. Bengals-Browns, delivering, you know. As it looks like the Lions and the Vikings ready to go to the half. A dominant first half for the Vikings in that one. Just a real physical pounding, kind of like what we're seeing the Niners do to the Saints. I really like the Niners here in the second half against the Saints. I think the Saints fired their best shot, and I think the Niners withstood it, and now it's just a matter of how much they win by. The Niners in a pick 'em, but it's actually now gone to Niners -1. You can go Niners -7.5 at +260. I see -4.5 at +170. The -3 at +135. I think it's safe at the 4.5. Maybe hit a little something there. But I expect the Niners to just continue to roll here on the Saints. Clemson stone cold lock over Ohio State. Stone cold. See if there's any updates in these second half lines. The Ravens -3 at -105. So there's pressure here on the Bills as far as the money moving on the Bills in the second half. We got the Packers -6 and the Redskins +6. This one looks like it's actually a -7 for the Packers is where it really is. Broncos +6 at +143. This is really a +8, +8.5 type range for the Broncos. Yeah, I gotta like the Bengals here in the second half at +3. They have really been taking it to the Browns in this one. I think they win this game, to be honest with you. At -1, they're +180. Nothing wrong with that. I really like the Vikings in the second half. I'd like to see what that line is. 17-0, and I mean Detroit is just physically getting beaten up. I think the two games that we're seeing teams get physically beaten up are that game, the Vikings-Lions, and the 49ers-Saints. Just physical beatdowns. I still like the over for the second half in the Niners-Saints. Like I said in my preview of the game, I think the Niners are going to physically take it to them, and the Saints are going to need to take shots downfield, and I don't see that stopping. I mean, that's exactly what happened, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. The Vikings are -4.5 for the second half, but the Lions did mount a little bit of a drive there towards the end of the second half, but I don't see it. I don't see them doing that again. It was all Vikings. When the Vikings needed to move the ball, they did. Now they're down big. Now they're down 17, so the running game is going to be pretty much out of the equation. Of course, I'm live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Weekends at 11. And Weekends at 11. And of course, I'm live halftime of this game. I'll come live halftime of the Patriots-Chiefs game as well. And we'll do halftime of tonight's Sunday Night Football action as well. Chiefs gear is missing versus the Patriots. I wonder what they do for that. What gear is missing? I didn't hear this story. Chiefs gear mistakenly sent to New Jersey. Some of the Chiefs helmets and shoulder pads and footballs. But see if they can make it back to Boston. 35 players, equipment. Chiefs didn't take the equipment off the plane. Should arrive between 3 and 3:30 in time for the game. So, no story there. Take a look again, second half line, see if we have any updates. Bills still +3. Redskins still +7. It's actually the +7 is now -125, so it's closer to +6.5 on the Redskins here. The Broncos +8. That line has come down. The 49ers now -2 for the second half. I think a lot of people seeing what I saw in that game, where the 49ers just started to physically take it to the Saints. And I expect that to continue. The -7.5 is +260 there. That seems like a lot of points for a half of football, but it might be worth a play at +260. The Bengals are +3, +165 for the half. The Vikings -4.5. And the Buccaneers -3 against the Colts. But I'm going to guess the Saints and Niners should be heading back onto the field momentarily. That was one of the first games to go to the second half, as the Dolphins and Jets are back on the field. The Dolphins were nearly my dog of the day today, but that didn't happen. I really was torn between a lot of teams. My best bet of the second half is 49ers. 49ers and Vikings. Parlay them up. Just think that that's the way to do it. And those two teams it's physical. Like when it's a physical beatdown like that, then you gotta take the team that's doing the physical pounding to them. And that's what we're seeing in this 49ers game. And that's what we're seeing in the Vikings game. It's just one-sided beatdowns. No reason not to believe that those don't continue. When you see teams physically manhandled at the line of scrimmage, the game is essentially over. And that is what's happening in the Saints-49ers game, and it's what's happening in the Vikings-Lions game. So my best bet of the second half is parlay the Saints the 49ers with the Vikings. Because the teams on the opposite side have no answers. And the quarterback for the Lions, when the Vikings do beat up the Lions on the line and they get the pass rush on, he starts running in the wrong direction. And it's an extra 20, 30 yards, and that's why they missed that field goal right before the half. So no reason to believe that this stuff doesn't continue, as the Saints and the Niners are back on the field. And it's the Niners getting the second half kickoff. I don't know. I haven't seen any. I like the Broncos heading into this game, so it's hard for me to get off of that. We haven't seen anything from the Texans to lead us to believe that they're going to come back. We kind of just keep going over the second half plays. So, I mean, if you want the second half plays, you should come on time. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. We took the 49ers, the Vikings. Those are our two strong plays for the second half. I like the Bengals as well. Anyways, this is Mitch. Enjoy the second half, and I'll see you guys halftime of the Patriots-Chiefs game. There's a lot of afternoon games, a lot of late games, so I'll hit you at halftime of that one, and then we'll go halftime of Sunday Night Football, as always. Have a great second half, and I'll see you guys halftime, Patriots-Chiefs.